A test contains three sections, three different sections. Each section has 5 questions, minimum 2 questions needed to be attempted from each section in such a way that a total of 8 questions are attempted. In how many ways a student appearing in the test can attempt the 8 questions? Now, if you understand, so there are 3 sections. Let's say section 1, 2, and 3. And how many questions? Each section has 5 questions. So 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here. Now, if total out of these questions, the student has to attempt 8 questions out of these 15, such that minimum of 2 is required from each section. That means from section 1, at least 2 is required, right? Let's fix 2 here. Similarly, 2 here. So how many questions now third section has to be attempted? That has to be 4, right? In order to get a total of 8, first section 2, then 2, and then 4, it gives you 8 questions. Similarly, let's fix 2 here, right? From the first section, 2 questions. Similarly, what about second section? Let's say 3 questions. If there are 3 questions, how many from the third section, such as to get 8 as a total? That has to be 3. So that's how these are the 2 possibilities. Case number 1, this one. Case number 2, wherein 2, 3, 3, right? There cannot be any other possibility. Why? Because in that case, the number of the questions per section would reduce from 2, which is not possible. So in order to get at least 2 questions from each section, you'll have to have 2, 2, 4 or 2, 3, 3, right? Now, from the first case, case number 1, how many ways first section can be attempted? The first section, 5 questions are there, 2 are to be attempted. In how many ways? It has to be 5C2. And from the second, 5 questions are there, 2 are required. In how many ways this can be attempted? That has to be 5C2. And out of 5, 4 questions to be attempted. In how many ways? It has to be 5C4. Now, these 3 objects, right? Within this case, this 2, it could be here. From the section 3, you could attempt 2 questions, and that student could attempt 4 from section 2. So these 3 objects, they can rearrange within themselves in how many ways? They can rearrange in how many ways? In 3 factorial ways, right? And there is a repetition. 2 is coming 2 times. So whatever it's coming more number of time, you have to divide by that factorial. So that would be the answer, 3 factorial upon 2 factorial times 5C2 into 5C2 into 5C4. That will be the case number of ways in which the student can attempt 8 questions for case number 1. What about similarly case number 2? So case number 2, out of 5, 2 are required. In how many ways? 2 questions can be attempted. It has to be 5C2. And out of 5, 3 questions required. In how many ways? 5C3. And out of 5, 3 questions required from section 3. That has to be again 5C3. And these 3 objects, they can rearrange. Think about it. It could be 3 questions from section 1, 2 questions from section 2, 3 questions from section 3, still going to be 8. That means 3 objects can rearrange in how many ways? 3 factorial ways. Is there a repetition? Yes. 3 is coming 2 times. That means it has to be divided by 2 factorial. Okay, so now what we have to do, we just have to simplify. So what will be the first case? First case, 3C2 upon 3 factorial upon 2 factorial. What is 3 factorial upon 2 factorial? That is going to be 3, right? 5C2, what is 5C2? That is 5 times 4 divided by 2, that is 10, multiplied by 5C2, solve it, that is coming again out to be 10, multiplied by the third case, that is 5C4, that is 5. Or it could be case number 2. Now for case number 2, it has to be added. Whenever or comes, it has to be added. 3 factorial upon 2 factorial, that is 3. 5C2, that is 10. 5C3, just simplify, that is again coming out to be 10. And 5C3 again 10. So we just have to find out this. So 3 times 10 times 10 times 5, that is 500 into 3, that is 1500, plus 100, 10 times 10 times 10, that is 1000, 1000 into 3, that is 3000, 1500 plus 3000, that has to be 4500. Okay, so that has to be option E, which will be the correct answer here. So try forming the cases as much as possible. First was case number 1 and case number 2, and then these objects can rearrange within themselves in 3 factorial ways, and there was a repetition. So just divide by 2 factorial, that would give you, and the more you have the cases, whatever the cases you are getting, just add them to get the final answer, which was 4500.